This is a recipe that took me about 2 months to come up with. Hello everyone, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the video. We're gonna do a fun recipe today. We're gonna do anabolic brownies. Fudgy, gooey, but delicious. This is a recipe that took me about 2 months to come up with. Needless to say, I have had to eat a lot of bad batches of brownies to get to where it is now. It's at a point now where I feel they're good enough for everyone to try. Okay, before we get into the recipe, let me just get one thing out of the way. When you bake with protein powder, and protein is the main macro in your baked goods, you can't expect it to be 100% like the real thing. It's just not gonna happen. Baking is a chemical reaction between all these ingredients, and once you start taking away ingredients, once you start changing the amounts of the ingredients, different chemical reactions happen. And then you end up with a different texture, a different consistency, a different taste. So we're changing a lot in the recipe to make it into a brownie. So yes, do not expect 100% like the real thing, but this is the philosophy I like to go by. This is also from Greg Doucette. He says that if you can make food taste 80% as good as the real thing, that's good enough. I think that's a great thing to live by. I think even 75% is good. I think 25% of taste is good enough to sacrifice to get a food that's going to be very high in protein, low in calories. That's a good sacrifice, in my opinion. What do you think? Drop a comment, let me know. That being said, there are a few things that I learned along the way that make the brownies taste so much better. I would say the most important thing is the kind of protein that you use. Use a casein blend, a whey casein blend. This is what I use. If you use just whey, the texture is going to be so off. There's no way to get a good texture with just whey. I have tried, trust me, it doesn't work. I have tried. The second most important thing is we have to use a little bit of real flour, just regular real flour. It's gonna help it rise, and it's really going to give it the texture that we're looking for. And we're not gonna use that much, so it's not gonna add that many calories, don't worry. All right, let's go over what we're gonna need. First thing, we're gonna need some pumpkin. We're not gonna use a lot of this stuff. This is really gonna help with the texture, but we're not gonna use a lot of this stuff. Don't worry, you will not taste it, I promise. We're gonna use a whole egg, as well as a little bit of egg whites, some sugar-free chocolate syrup, regular white flour, coconut flour, just a little bit of this stuff. It's really high in fiber. Some unsweetened cocoa powder. It is unsweetened, right? Yep, it's unsweetened. And I'm gonna use some Vitafiber. Shout out to Dr. Greg Doucette again for putting me onto this stuff. So this is gonna act as a sweetener and as a source of fiber. Great to put in everything. Of course, protein powder. I use a casein blend, like I said before. This is the one that I use. Just any kind of a chocolate one would work. Oops, almost dropped that. And to sweeten it, I'm gonna use some Splenda. Oh, and also some almond milk, or you could also use water, but it's probably not gonna taste as good. And a little bit of baking powder. I also forgot to mention these two things, but they are on the list, and the full recipe is in the description, the chocolate chips and the salt. So of course, make sure that you have a food scale. Very, 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 very important. Very important that you have a food scale. I'm gonna put the bowl on. I'm gonna go ahead and weigh everything out. All right, so before we start weighing everything out, make sure that you preheat your oven at 375. All right, so let's start first with the dry ingredients. You always want to put the wet onto dry ingredients. Wet into dry. 50 grams of flour. Like I said, we're not going to use that much flour, just a tiny bit. Next is coconut flour, 14 grams. Wow, that was exactly 14. Could you believe that? Exactly 14. I'm not even lying. Wow. grams of this stuff. Baking powder. Good old Splenda. So it's gonna be 5 scoops of this stuff, but I don't go with the scoops. I always weigh it. I suggest you weigh it too, because you could miss it by a gram or 2 off each scoop. So that's about 10 grams that you could be losing on or adding on into your macros. So be careful, weigh your food. Ooh, put a little bit too much. All right, and last of the dry ingredients is cocoa powder. Always have a new one on hand. All right, next is the pumpkin. Egg whites. Chocolate syrup. Okay, the almond milk, we should need about 2 cups of almond milk in total, but you don't want to add it all at once, so just have a half cup on standby, and I like to add it in a half a cup at a time. And I've also found the best utensil to mix this with is a rubber spatula. So I'm going to start with half a cup and see where it takes me. Just be nice and slow in the beginning. I know it's gonna look like it's not gonna come together. Looks rough. Just keep at it. Gonna add another half cup. Another half cup. So I put 1.5 cups and I think it looks good. I'm not gonna put any more almond milk. I'm happy with this consistency. Hope you can see it. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna add the chocolate chips. I had someone call this out in one of my videos. This is how I scale things. I put the whole bag on the scale, and then I hit the tare button. So now it's at 0. And when I take from it, it's gonna show me the negative number. So it's gonna show I took -8. And that's what it says now, I took -8. I'm gonna put the majority of them in the mixture, then just save a few to put on top. I have a terrible habit of eating so many of these. This is not good. So get yourself a pan, spray it. Jesus, that's a lot. Don't spray it that much. This stuff does have calories. Before I put this into the pan, I need to taste this. I need to make sure it's good. I know there's a raw egg in here, so don't try this at home. But we're gonna go ahead and pour this in. If the batter doesn't taste good, the brownies aren't gonna taste good. The batter has to taste good. So I want to shake this around a bit. Remember, it's a brownie mix, right? So it's gonna be pretty thick. And then we're gonna get the rest of the chocolate chips and just throw them in there. Literally, throw them in. Should look something like this. Gonna go into the oven and see ya.
This is after 15 minutes in the oven, and notice how when we do the toothpick test, it's still dirty. So you still want it to be wet when it comes out of the oven, not like a regular brownie.
All right, so it's been out of the oven now for about, I want to say, close to 10 minutes. It's not there yet. So as you saw before, when we took it out of the oven, it was a little bit runny, okay? When we put the toothpick, it didn't come out clean, right? Because remember, this isn't regular baking. We're not making brownies anymore. This is not regular brownies, okay? This part here, this was all liquid. Now it's all starting to set. I don't know if I want to cut into it just yet. Maybe just the edges. I'll try just the edges. Oh, nice. All right, let me show you this. One of the benefits of having the chocolate chips inside is because I have all these little fudgy pockets in it. When I tried this with just whey protein, it was not good. This was just not good. One more. So in this whole thing, right, this whole thing has 1,400 calories. I didn't want to break it up per brownie because it's gonna depend on the pan, on the size that you cut it, so that's going to differ. But this whole recipe makes 1,400 calories, and I'll put the rest of the protein and the fiber on the screen. And the majority of the macros do come from protein, so I think that's pretty good. Now for toppings that you can put on this, you can eat this just like that. So good by itself. The chocolate inside. You could put Walden Farms caramel. I'm usually not a fan of anything made by Walden Farms. I think it tastes horrible, everything that they make. I don't like them. This is the only thing that they make that I can actually stomach. The other thing you could put it on is the same stuff that we used in the batter. So you can put this stuff on, why not? Or you can put some Halo Top on there. Halo Top's always good. You can put some. This is the one thing I make where I can just continuously keep eating it, which is okay because the macros here are incredible. As usual, if you guys have any suggestions for any dishes you want to see turn into a low calorie, high protein version, just drop a comment, let me know. On my last video, I got a few suggestions, so I am definitely working on those for sure. And many more videos are coming. Hit the subscribe button if you've made it this far into the video. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you liked the video or not. Even if you didn't, let me know. Did you not like the video? Why didn't you like it? Does this look bad? Do I look bad? Was it meh? Yeah. I don't know. Drop a comment. Let me know. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.